The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, gang. How are you? This is Monica Main, and welcome to the Money Funnel 2.0 Mentorship Group, week number 9. This is our last week. And sorry about the confusion on the registration for this. It was more of a technical glitch, but I'd like to actually blame myself for that because I thought I could actually add a session onto the 8 weeks that we had already done after the fact, and the system did not let me do that. So I had to start a new registration session for you guys. So I hope you're all in, and if not, don't worry. I have the video post this event. And happy Halloween, everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful, happy, healthy Halloween. And I can't believe that we've come to the end of this. But I don't know about you, but I'm ready for this to end. I'm actually kind of excited for a few different reasons, namely because this is very difficult for me to teach. It's very difficult for me to prepare for because it takes a lot of time. A lot of my students that actually follow through with all of the stuff that I teach do extremely well. A lot of my students are making anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 in net profits a month, and that's on the low side. But again, that is for those that actually follow through and do all of the stuff. I think a lot of students on the opposite end of the spectrum end up getting intimidated by the process or falter somewhat, in the middle or toward the end because they feel like they can't do it or they're having some technical difficulties and so forth. And so if you feel like you need additional help, let me know. And I'm here for you. I'm always here for you, even post this mentorship group. So please note, I'm not going to leave you hanging, and I will be there to assist you in getting your RIM up. I don't know where you're in on the process. I don't know if you're still building your RIM. I don't know if you're trying to find an affiliate program. I don't know if you're still building out a product. I have no idea where you are in this process, but please note that I am here for you as you go through this one more time. Many of you will probably have to go through all of the sessions, all 9 sessions. And some of you might actually have to start over and get more organized, because I have to say by far, this mentorship group had more training minutes or hours than any other mentorship group I've done in the last 2 years. And so I guess congratulations on getting the most training material out of me in any given mentorship group. But it did take a lot of prep on my part, and it certainly took a lot of concentration on your part to be able to stay in line with exactly what I was talking about at all times. So it's somewhat difficult. And today's session is not going to be any different because there are, yet again, more technical aspects to this. Now let me explain to you a little bit about barrier of entry. I think we covered this in the very beginning of this mentorship group, but barrier of entry is a good thing. So you might start to psych yourself out thinking, I can't do all this stuff, or all this is so difficult. There's so many different elements, with the ClickFunnels to custom domains to Cloudflare to then, with integrating with Aweber and getting the form together to integrating through ClickBank with a hop link if I'm doing an affiliate program. And then now all of a sudden I have to start building online ads through what we're going to talk about today is both Facebook as well as through the Bing platform, which covers Yahoo as well. And there's even more additional elements to cover. And the good news is that once you learn all of this stuff, it's very easy to continue following through and keep doing the same thing over and over again, because these platforms rarely change on a monumental level. They will change with minor things, like ClickFunnels changes all the time with little minor things here and there, but none of them change their entire platform. So please note that once you learn it, it's very easy for you to keep doing new campaigns, keep building new funnels, et cetera, et cetera. But it's the learning curve that makes it difficult for new people to get involved in this. And so I strongly recommend is that every single system that I'm talking about, whether it's ClickFunnels or Aweber or, even ClickBank, Cloudflare, all of them have either tutorial videos or at least step-by-step instructions that are located on their websites to be able to do this. Okay, and again, if you can't figure it out with anyone else, please then contact me and I can help you further. Okay, so I don't want you to be feeling like you're flapping in the wind and you can't do this, or that you just wasted your time for the last 9 weeks. I don't want you to feel like that at all. I want you to continue doing this because the payout is humongous once you actually get rolling with this, okay? So let's just assume that all of you have at least a 1-page landing page, what we call a RIM. And on that RIM, when people go there, they are baited into your system by being promised some kind of high value or high perceived value freebie item, whether it's a downloadable virtual item that they'll get, like a free report, or whether it's going to be some kind of actual physical thing that they're going to receive in the mail, such as, a free sample for, say, like a weight loss supplement or something like that. So let's just assume that you have the RIM set up, which is, again, just a one-page, flapping in the breeze, out there in cyberspace website with your domain attached, regardless of whether you have it on the GoDaddy system or whether you have it on Wix or whether you have it on ClickFunnels. It doesn't even matter. Let's just pretend like you have that. So now that you have that and you tested all the links to make sure that they work, to make sure that the Aweber system's working with the auto drips, to make sure all that stuff's working, then you can go ahead and start the process of advertising it online. Now, again, testing it is absolutely critical to make sure that everything's working, because you don't want to just throw something out there that's not even working at all. In fact, with my latest business, Goddess Gold, one of the biggest issues I'm having right now is with the order taking service, because every time we call in our test, they're not following our script, or they're going to some other part on our website. So there's some kind of glitch or something going on in their system. So we've actually held off on our marketing campaign. It's going on, let's see, I want to say 2 months. And it's not just because of the one company we're dealing with. We were dealing with another company that we're having a problem with. We ended up switching about 3 weeks to 4 weeks into the process with them, and then we switched over. So it's been a month with this new company, and we're still waiting on our marketing campaign to send it out, which will be a physical invitation type mailer, which we covered earlier in this group. And we're holding that until we get this fixed. There's no point in throwing a marketing campaign out there until everything is in full working order when it comes to all the components you need to be able to, grab all of your prospects in and be able to make sure that you can capture their name and email address and whatever else you're asking for adequately, sufficiently, and properly. Because if you can't, then you're going to be wasting all this money in marketing. We don't want to do that. So let's just assume, for intents and purposes of this presentation, that you do have your RIM ready to go. It's been tested out. You are now ready to start your Facebook and your pay-per-click marketing campaign. So let's talk about that in this presentation. So you're probably wondering, since I've been kind of bashing inadvertently doing kind of any kind of online marketing because of so many different changes, critical changes that have occurred in the last, I would say, several years, but most notably with Facebook even in the last 6 to 12 months. Is there a successful online marketing strategy to drive traffic? And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the changes as we go along. I'm not going to, unload all of the changes on you right now. We sort of talked about Google AdWords being out of the picture, but if you find that there's other competing companies on Google AdWords that have competing types of products, then by all means, if you can get on Google AdWords, get on Google AdWords, because that will be the most powerful way that you would generate traffic and ultimately income if you can get on there. I would even go so far as to say offer a product that might not be part of your overall product line, but could be part of your wheelhouse that you would be able to advertise on Google AdWords that you otherwise would not be able to advertise with, say, for example, your mainstream product line. So let me give you an example. Let's see. So, for example, we're dabbling with our skincare product, and we can actually advertise skincare stuff on Google AdWords. But when it comes to anti-aging, that's kind of a dicey subject. So when we're advertising on Google AdWords, we have to sort of minimize the anti-aging benefits and maximize the all-natural benefits of the product. So even if I had to, which I don't, thankfully, because I have enough products that are all about, all natural as well as anti-aging in our whole product line, that I don't have to go out on a limb and do this. But if I only had anti-aging products, then I would have to create an additional product or only talk about the all-natural attributes of that product when advertising this one particular product on probably a separate website that would go on the Google AdWords system. Once I can get people into my pipeline, into my RIM, into my system, then I can offer up all my other products that I have in my product line that would be part of that same wheelhouse, obviously, because I came into it with an interest in skincare, and I have other things that are about skincare once they get into my system, if that kind of makes sense. And so I don't know how that would work with stock trading. I'm not even sure if it's possible to do it with that. Same with real estate investing. There was a couple of loopholes in that a couple years ago, where people would go on there as real estate consultants, quote unquote, and they would have people put their name and mailing address and phone number in there for a free, quote unquote, consulting session. I think Robert Kiyosaki still gets away with it, maybe. I'm not sure. He might be the only one left. But as far as everybody else, they're all gone. So if I wanted to do that with the real estate stuff, I could do it that way. And again, I think everybody's gone anyway by now. But again, try to find a way to circumvent the system while still remaining in your wheelhouse, if you will, if you really want to get the power of Google AdWords, which is really highly recommended. Otherwise, for now, if you want basically a guaranteed way of being able to get on without any problems at all, there are two main strategies that I'm going to be covering with you today. So is there a successful online marketing strategy to drive traffic? Absolutely. Otherwise, we would not be talking about this at all today. All right, so let's do a quick overview on what our whole strategy should look like. This is the total strategy of everything that we've talked about. What we're going to talk about is the stuff on the left side today. The right side is stuff we've talked about weeks ago in reference to driving traffic using a two-step marketing campaign. I forgot to mention that when I was at my last, I can't even believe how time is going by so fast. I was just at that seminar event. I went to the seminar event in Cleveland, and it's called the Info Summit. It's something that GKIC puts on every single year in the fall between October and November every year. And so I went there. I hadn't gone in a couple of years. I noticed that there was a major drop in attendance, and I'm not sure if it was because it was in Cleveland, which is kind of hard for people to get to. I mean, I fly out of LAX, and there's no direct flights to Cleveland from LAX. Not with my airline anyway. I usually fly Delta, but I don't know if that was a problem or if people just don't like showing up. But so I went, and one of the issues that I had, they had these round tables, and I decided to sit at this round table with this guy. His name is Craig Simpson, and he wrote a book called The Direct Mail Solution, which is probably the most latest and relevant direct mail marketing book on the market right now. I think he wrote it a couple years ago. But I wanted to argue with this guy because he said in his book that you get 2% on most mailings for a response on a one-step mailing. And I'm like, you don't get 2%. Even Dan Kennedy will tell you that you don't get 2%. I could tell you don't get 2% just based on the fact that I mail a lot. The maximum you'll get on a one-step mailing, which is basically you send out a sales letter, a full sales letter with an order form, expecting people to mail money back to you or call in money to you or whatever, steps you have for people to order. So my best that I get usually is between 0.37% and 0.5% if I'm really lucky. So a half of 1%, all right, is good. That's tops. Long gone are the days of getting 2%. Back in the 90s, you can get between 2 and 5% on a cold mailing list. Not now. Are you kidding me? So I had to sit there and argue with the guy. But while I was arguing with him, he actually told me about certain mailers that he's been doing for other companies that are actually still one-step mailers that still work. And I know he's correct in that I see all the different mailers from all the health supplement companies that are one-step mailers that are kind of look like catalogs, but they're really sales letters. And you open them up, and it's all about this miraculous miracle pill, this miracle pill. There's always some miracle pill, mostly hitting the baby boomer market and the older baby boomer market. And they all ask for money up front. And so he says those still work. Now, do they get 2%? Well, no, they don't. Many of them probably break even, and the way that they're able to make money is on the back end. So I did learn a lot. I don't just go there to argue with people and say that I know it all, but at least I wanted to get my point, on the table and off my chest. And then I become open to what suggestions other people say. So he still says that there's still money in one-step marketing. I don't know if that's the case. I've kind of dropped back since I think the last one-step mailing we did was, I want to say August, maybe July, somewhere in the summer. It was a one-step mailing that we did. And other than that, I do two-step now. And basically, as you know, two-step is when you send out a postcard or send out the invitation mailer, which I recommend even more, to get people to come into the pipeline. And yes, it takes a little bit more time to massage money out of them, but you're getting a more serious prospect out of the deal because they took the time to respond. They took the time to follow the course of action that you asked them to follow, which was either go to my website and get the free sample, or call on the phone and get the free sample. Well, they ran through some hoops is essentially what I'm trying to tell you. And so therefore, they're much more higher qualified on the offline side than looking at the left side there on the online side, where basically they could have been sitting there, at a bus stop, looking at your advertisement through their Facebook app on their phone and clicked over with no effort whatsoever. Now that's a different kind of customer, isn't it? So I should mention ahead of time that when you do set up your ads, you want to be able to remove the mobile application option off of those ads, because you don't want people to be haphazardly clicking on your stuff because they're bored, or because they're really scrolling and they happen to hit your advertisement by accident when they put their finger on the screen to scroll up, and you're paying for all these needless clicks that are really simply not real clicks, not real customers interested in your stuff. So that's why I strongly recommend that when you do this stuff online, which I'm going to be showing you today, you want to remove the opportunity for them to be able to click on anything when they're on their phone, because that makes it even lazier of, I guess you could say, a process for them to get into your funnel. So you go from the offline method, which is somebody gets it in the mail, they look at it, they read it, they have to say, this is something I really want, this bait that they're offering me. It's asking me to call this phone number, this 800 number. Okay, let me walk over to my phone and call this 800 number. Or later on after dinner, let me call this 800 number. They pick up your card again and they go over the phone, pick up the phone, call the 800. Okay, there's a lot more going on here, qualifying them at a higher level than, oh, I'm just sitting here bored, at my bro's house, and I'm just going through my phone, and he's going to be back in a minute. He just went to the store to get a gallon of milk, and until he comes back, I'm just going to scroll and look at a bunch of Facebook things, and oh, this looks kind of cool. Is this an ad or is this a post from somebody? I'm just going to click on it and see, oh, this was just somebody trying to sell something next, or oh, this seems cool. They're offering me something for free, so I'm just going to type my name in there and see if I can get something for free. I mean, they didn't even get their ass off the couch to do anything to pre-qualify themselves as a customer that way, okay? So to be clear, off the cuff, again, I'm gonna mention this one more time. If you're going to do this stuff online, which I do recommend that you implement this as part of your marketing strategy because it's very important, you must remove the mobile application option out of all your ads, whether it's on Facebook or anywhere else. Take the mobile part out, and then you will be able to get higher qualified leads. Not as high as the offline, but still high enough to where it'll make it financially worthwhile for you. All right. So I hope that kind of makes sense. All right. So let's focus on our online marketing strategy. Now, here's the rundown on what we're looking at. And then I'm going to tell you which ones have worked the best for me, so that we're going to be focusing on those only today. All right. We don't want to add to the confusion here. We want to just pinpoint and finely tune focus only the stuff that really, really works. So pay-per-click is, as I mentioned before, Google AdWords, Yahoo, anywhere where people are going into the system after they are searching. That's a search pay-per-click, okay? A little bit different than Facebook. Facebook technically is pay-per-click because you are paying per click, but it's through a social media site. So I actually classify that differently than just pay-per-click. So pay-per-click to me is through the main search engines. SEO is search engine optimization. This is for people that are looking for what we call organic searches. So this is the part where people's blogs will show up, and it's in the free section. So for example, say you are searching for all natural cures for cancer or something. So that's what you type into Google. So more than likely there probably isn't any pay-per-click or sponsored ads at the top or to the right. But the rest of what you'll see is all of the blogs and different things that people wrote about in reference to this topic. And again, nobody pays for any of this. It's what they call organic searches. And so that's what we call SEO, meaning that when you write a blog, when you do your research later, which I'm going to show you how to do, and I've kind of covered before, you're going to get a listing of your ideal keywords. And so when you write your little blogs, or you have somebody else write blogs, you can go to Fiverr.com and have people write hundreds of blog postings for you if you don't want to write anything. And you always make sure that it's what they call keyword rich, where all your main keywords that you want that people are going to be searching are in your blog, all throughout your blog, mentioned in your blog, so that when people do type in, all natural cures for cancer, you have that in your blog like 7 to 10 times, or however many times you need to make it keyword rich, that it just doesn't sound ridiculous. It actually flows in the copy, okay? That's search engine optimization. I don't like doing it that way. It's very difficult to drive a lot of traffic through SEO. You'll get some, but you're not going to get a lot. Banners. We talked about banners on specialty sites, ideally through direct buy, which we've already talked about. We've already talked about how to find those through doing your searches of your blogs through the SEO, through the organic section, and actually doing direct buy, meaning that you're going to go into those sites, onto those sites with a banner. If you don't know how to make a banner, or you can't make a banner, say for example you need an animated banner. An animated banner versus a static banner is an animated banner means that there's stuff moving around and blinking on it. A static banner means that there's just nothing blinking, it's just there. You can have dozens of people design these for you within 24 hours for a few dollars. Again, I advise you to go to Fiverr.com. It's Fiverr.com, and people, from everywhere in the world can make all kinds of stuff for you. They can do testimonial videos for you. They can do voiceover work. They could do whiteboard videos for you. They could, even do banners for you. They could do all kinds of stuff, write blog posts for you. These people can do anything and everything. So if you feel like there's a lot of things that you don't want to do, including writing a book or an ebook or whatever it is that you don't want to do, there's people out there that can do it. You just have to reach out to them and get them to do it for you. They can also make virtual covers for you if you feel like you're not an artist and you can't do the virtual cover stuff. Not everybody is good at the art stuff, and that's fine. You just have somebody do it for you. And then online advertising, also too, the same thing kind of as banners through the direct buy. So either it's a banner or it's just a text ad. If it's just a text ad, it's just called an online ad. YouTube videos, this is kind of split in how you can do it. Ideally, what you'll do is you'll be able to put your ad on somebody else's, I guess you could say, on somebody else's video that permits that, or that's looking for money to do this. So for example, say I was trying to market a new wealth attraction type of course, okay? So what I would do is I would create a video. I don't know, maybe the video would be a minute long, 2 minutes long, it doesn't even matter. And the video would be all about how people can attract anything that they want in their life with the secret method that I have. And you want to say as much as you can in the first 10 seconds, because once the 10 seconds, it's either 5 or 10 seconds, once those seconds are up, then they can skip the rest of the advertisement video and go into the video that they went there for to begin with. Now, what I would do is I would put this video as an advertisement in front of other videos that have to do with wealth attraction that are on YouTube. And again, not all of them will allow for advertising, because some of them just aren't there to making money. They're just there to provide the information. But others are there for the purposes of making money. And so you can see about how many you can actually tack your video on the front of, to be able to have your video run first before they could skip out and watch the video. Then there's another way of doing it to where your ad would run as a banner strip on the bottom or the top of the video. And again, it would be pertaining to the video that you're watching. So for example, if, again, for the wealth attraction course thing that I'm talking about, you might have an ad that would be at the top or the bottom, and it would just be a strip, and it would look a lot like a text ad that you'd see on Google AdWords or Yahoo. and the person has the ability to exit out after a time to be able to get rid of it so that they can watch their video. But I would be tacking that on to other videos that are pertaining to wealth attraction, maybe some Wayne Dyer videos, some things from Bob Proctor, some people that are into the whole wealth attraction game. I would find their videos and I would tack on my link on there. So there's a couple different ways of doing YouTube. YouTube is big, but to make it work most successfully is to have those videos, your own video, running in advance before their video starts, okay? And again, you want to be as tantalizing as possible to get them to click through before they go on to their video and skip your ad. And then there's Facebook ads. Facebook ads alongside of pay-per-click, so the very top and the very bottom on this list here, are probably the most tested, tried, and proven strategies that I know of that are online. But there's ways of doing it to be able to make it work effectively. And if you don't do it correctly, then you're going to find that you're spending a lot of money on nothing, okay? So we need to focus on exactly how to make money with it. So let's talk about doing that. Let's talk about Facebook for making money. Now, social media is to be used as a funnel in which to get leads. I've asked about other social media sites. I've tried other social media sites. So when I talk to experts, other experts on the subject, Facebook is the only one really that makes a lot of money for people. Instagram and other things just aren't there yet. Nobody really knows how to make money with Twitter that I know of. So there's other social media. But what you need to look at it for is really it's a lead source. It's not really a strategy to where you're going to send people off to sell them to a sales page. Now, there's ways that you can do that, and I'll show you different products in which it works. But for what you're doing, or most of you, what you're doing, if you want to get higher price points, it's probably better to do a two-step method. There's certain things, though, that you could sell as a one-step, which we'll go into detail. Mostly what it's for is to attract leads into your funnel, and then ultimately you'll cultivate the lead through your funnel when they get to that first part of it, all right? So that's it in a nutshell. Now, I should mention that if you're using ClickFunnels for this and you have your own product, you might want to consider when you're getting leads from Facebook to try to charge something for your sample. If you're going to be sending them a free sample, whether it's 1 cent or whether it's 99 cents or whether it's a shipping charge of $4.99, just to be able to get their credit card info as well as all of their shipping information in one fell swoop, so that it makes the funnel upsell process a lot easier. This is different than when you're driving traffic from offline methods. Like, for example, if you sent a postcard to people, or if you sent an invitation to people and you sent them an off, or maybe they're looking at a space ad in a magazine advertisement. It's an offline marketing method that requires them to do physical labor of some kind, which basically is just them getting off their ass and going to their computer or picking up the phone and calling. Then you don't charge for the sample. You don't charge for the free bait, okay? That's the rule. However, if they're coming off of Facebook or pay-per-click, meaning that they've put no physical labor into the process as a prospective customer, then their payment has to be in the form of some money. And again, it could be 1 cent, it could be 5 cents, it could be 99 cents, but you want to be able to have them invest in the process. And it's not really so much about the money, because you're not going to be making money off this. You're actually going to be losing money. It's to qualify them some way or fashion, if that makes sense. It's very difficult to qualify someone otherwise. I mean, like I said, if somebody's waiting around at a bus stop and they're just inadvertently scanning through their phone all of their Facebook posts and they see your ad and they just click on it, well, if they're not going to go through the rest of the process, they're not going to be able to be invested in the process, as far as whether they're worthy for you to send out a free sample, because they're not. They put no effort into it. They put no energy into it. And of course, money is also a form of energy. So you shouldn't put any effort into it either. You know what I mean? And again, this goes back to why you should never have your advertisements on a mobile app, because those people are the least invested of all right? So at least people that are sitting at their laptop or their desktop, they have access to probably their wallet or credit card or purse somewhere nearby. And then they become invested in the process. So those that decide not to click through and decide not to order the 99-cent sample, then they're not worthy of any additional free stuff from it. They're just not, because they're not invested, they're not interested enough, all right? So we have the concept of MOM, which is magnet. So you're going to magnetize these people into your funnel and ultimately get them to opt in, whether they're paying for a free sample, they're just covering shipping and handling, or whether they're just opting in, and then you're ultimately going to monetize that through the funnel system itself, okay? Now, ideally, we're trying to do that right away, and that's why we're putting them into the funnel where, say, for example, you're selling a diet product, and the cool thing is, by the way, when you have ClickFunnels, you could duplicate one funnel of the other. So one funnel, and I just did this with my 7-day facelift stuff. I just did it today, actually, where one funnel is going to be getting the product for free. They just pay shipping and handling for it. And the other one is going to be the regular price of the product. So the one is just for a short-term promotion that I'm going to be doing. It's an introductory offer. The other one is going to be if people just want to order it, you know, from Google AdWords or somewhere else. All right. So you can do the same with your funnel. You can have the exact same funnel set up. One offers it completely free. You know, they just have to put their name and email address and mailing address. The other one, the page and everything looks exactly the same, but the other one's charging 99 cents for the sample. So you have these two funnels. One funnel, the one that's charging money, is the one for your Facebook leads. The other one that's not charging money is for your postcards or your invitations or whatever you're actually going to be physically mailing out there. All right, so you can have two of the same, doing two different things, but the rest of the funnel stays the same. All right. So the person that bought the 99-cent free sample, they just paid shipping and handling. They're going to go into part 2 of the funnel, which is, oh, by the way, while you're here, we have this special offer. We're offering X, Y, and Z. So the rest would be the same on the other funnel as well. It's just that you would have to get them to go into the system differently because they didn't put their credit card number in yet. So they would have a different order form screen for page 2, if that kind of makes sense. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't really matter. But what I'm trying to tell you is that they wouldn't start the order process till page 2, while the free sample people would have started the order process on page 1, putting in their information for their credit card. So it all starts with the rim page, with the bait. And then once you have your rim, you can then start placing Facebook ads and other pay-per-click ads. So what you want to do in these Facebook ads is you want to have an interesting picture, you know, so that people, especially a picture that shows kind of motion. You can even do video. People love videos. Don't do the spammy ads, and I'll show you a couple of examples of what spammy ads look like, because you don't want that. But you want to start with something interesting, and then, of course, have an interesting little blurb about it. And then click up, when they click on it, they end up on your squeeze page or your rim page to start. And then after that, once you capture their information, you can then start the sales process. This is what a spammy ad looks like. We don't want this to be what our advertisements look like. They actually work, but you know, you're going to have fewer people looking at them if it looks like this. And I'm not really a fan of this ad either. I think it's mostly the picture and the stupid URL in the middle that kind of just blocks the picture. I don't understand what she has to do with any of this stuff. It looks like she's looking at a stock graph or something on her laptop, and she's writing something down when she's on the phone. I don't know how that applies to anything that she's doing or talking about with the dot capital dot credit. You know, the other, I guess you could say, I know they have a name for it, but the additions that you can use instead of .com. So what you're aiming for is, this one's actually a video. And if you saw the video, you'd see that there's a bunch of these microbiotic organisms that are teeming about, and they're just kind of running amok everywhere. And you're wondering, okay, are these germs, or what the hell are these? There's no words or anything. It just shows this video. Video is awesome, and video is probably ultimately going to take over as far as whether or not you become successful on Facebook, as if you have videos, all right? And then, of course, having an enticing reason. It's like a headline. You guys all are experts on headlines now, so you essentially put in a headline there, all right? Here's some more. I'm not a big rich dad, poor dad fan, but and I wouldn't use yourself in a picture unless you're somewhat well known. This is Russell Brunson. What I like about this picture is it's kind of, let me see, an action picture where it shows that he's kind of doing something, and he's waving his hand and it's blurry. That's actually good to do that, because you're like, well, what is he doing? Who's he waving at? What is he talking to somebody? And it kind of captures your attention there. These are ads that are found on the right side of the page. They're the smaller ads. I'm not a fan of these at all. These are usually ads that'll come up. Well, they'll come up sometimes, but a lot of times they come up as a retarget ad. So say, for example, you clicked on a like for one of the other ads, or you clicked on the actual ad itself, but you didn't stay on the page that long, or you just clicked out of it and you didn't opt in. What'll happen is you'll end up on a retarget campaign, where all of a sudden you'll start to see that same small version of the ad over and over and over again, but it'll be in the right lower part of the screen, and not in the main posting section. That's what they call a retarget. Otherwise, to select that particular area solely and exclusively, I don't think you can anyway. It never pulls as well, but it'll pull if it's retargeted. Which is part of their Facebook system and how it works, all right? So to higher your Facebook traffic, obviously, the higher you're going to have in Google SEO, believe it or not, but also Facebook will show you're posting more. Facebook obviously loves original material and content and always favors video, all right? So this is how you create a campaign. I kind of blocked out all the other million campaigns that are underneath the first one that you see there. But you click there, and once you get to that, you select what your goal is. I don't know that this makes a damn bit of difference, quite honestly. I've had students ask me this. I think the newer screen that they have looks slightly different, and they're wondering if this will actually affect, how everything will work with Facebook. I don't think that it really does. I've selected different things here. I either select number 3, which is send people to your website, or if you see the second to the last one there, collect leads for your business. It's kind of the same thing. I mean, and I've used both of those. I've also chosen, let's see, there's one more that I've chosen. I think I've also chosen promote a product catalog on some of the new skincare stuff. So you select send people to your website. It's like, obviously, duh, aren't all of them to send people to your website? So you click there, and then this is what it looks like when you start the process of setting everything up. You're simply going to start by editing who your target audience is. Now, obviously, you can see that they put my default as real estate investors, because the very last ad that I put up was for real estate investors. So what'll happen is they will take the default of the very last campaign I did and then actually just tag it there. Well, what if I'm not doing anything for real estate investors? So I have to go and edit that out. This is going to be the most important part of your marketing campaign, is your audience. Now, there's good and bad in different types of marketing. So let's talk about the things I don't like real fast about Facebook. Facebook is a place where people congregate together, friends and family. I have family that I have not seen in over 30 years that I see on Facebook. I have a cousin, his name is Mike, and he's a car collector, and he has old Corvairs and all the Chevy stuff. And so every once in a while he'll take pictures of different auto shows and his current, acquisition of vehicles and so forth. And so as a person who is part of his family, kind of, I guess, who hasn't seen this guy for 30 years, I enjoy the fact that I could stay in contact with a lot of my family that are in the Chicago area who I have not seen for several decades. So that's why I like Facebook, and that's why everybody else likes Facebook, because they can interact with, share stuff with, communicate with, and get other shared stuff from other people that are part of their inner circle, friends and family network, or people that are acquaintances or people that they haven't seen in a long time when they otherwise could not do that, okay? So Facebook has made this possible. Now, that's the good about Facebook for the purposes of being a consumer. But let's talk about being a marketer and how people don't like that part. So as a consumer, I'm thinking, okay, I'm there to see friends and family. I'm there to see stuff from old cousins. I'm not there to be advertised to or marketed to, okay? So these are the things you need to take into consideration when you're building your advertisements. People don't mind being advertised to or marketed to because they understand that the platform stays there for free for people as long as marketers can continue paying for the platform by utilizing their marketing dollars. However, when it's just so spammy and it's just so blatantly, I guess you could say, disconnected from their interest, then they start getting pissed off, all right? Now, enter the target audience. This is where you're going to win in this game, because when you're a marketer of any product, when you try to be a product for everyone, then you are a product for nobody, okay? You have to really understand who your target market is. This is all stuff that we've covered earlier. So we don't want to target everybody in the United States of America. We now have to choose different sexes if we have a specific type of product. Like for my skincare, I'll tell you exactly what I did. Skincare was women only between the ages of, I think I put 45 and 65. Lately we've been experimenting and going up to 75 because I guess 75 is the new 65 from what I understand. I don't know. I'll let you know when I get there whether that's true or not. Although by the time I'm 75, maybe the 75 will be the new 45. Who the hell knows? I obviously don't want 18-year-olds. I don't want 18-year-old men. So I choose 45 to 65 for our original campaign, women only, and I chose the UK and the US, as well as Canada. And so that's what we did initially. Now, again, that's not it. That's not where we're still not interested in targeting all of those people. We then go into the bottom section there. If you can see, it's called detailed targeting. And we want people that have had some kind of interest in skincare, whether they liked something on skincare, whether they clicked through on something that's skincare. And what's cool about Facebook is that other marketing, I guess you could say, elements or opportunities don't allow for this detailed targeting. So even though people are on Facebook, they're not there to buy stuff. What's cool about Facebook from a marketing standpoint, and what sucks about Facebook from a consumer standpoint, is that they collect data on you like you would never believe. If you think the U.S. government collects data on you and you're worried about the U.S. government, first of all, the U.S. government is outdated and antiquated on how they store the data and use the data, to the point where it's almost non-functional. Facebook implements the most strategic, cutting-edge, technical aspects and abilities to be able to not only collect but also house your data and even most importantly utilize every bit of that data, whether it's something you looked at, whether it's even something off of Facebook that you looked at. They are able to tab you by your cookies and tab you by other websites you went to, and I mean it's madness on what they can do. So from a consumer standpoint, and one of the reasons why I try to stay off Facebook now as a consumer and don't really go on there that much is because I understand how much data they're collecting on you and me, every single time we not only use Facebook, but we use other websites as well. And that's 100% legal for them to do until the government can come up with some kind of statutes and limitations for them to prevent them from doing this. But unfortunately, the government, if you looked around at all of the people lately on who's running it, they're just a bunch of old white guys. I don't even know if they understand most of what's going on. And that's what Facebook and other companies like Facebook has in their favor, is that these people that run the government simply don't understand the potential severe violations of people's, personal privacy that Facebook is taking away. And until somebody brings that to light, which will probably happen in the form of a whistleblower or something to that effect in the future, some young whippersnapper that is a disgruntled employee of Facebook is going to bring it to light on exactly what's going on. Until that happens, nobody in the government's really going to understand what's going on. So it's really spooky and scary on how much data they collect and house and even most importantly utilize, I want to say, against you. And not in the way that, against you as in it's hurting you, but kind of selling it to people, selling your private information, your private likes and dislikes, your privacy to other people that are willing to pay a price for it. And so that's the scary part. But the good news is you as a marketer can utilize this to your benefit. So if you can see the detailed targeting section toward the bottom of the screen, it clearly shows that you can choose behaviors, you can choose people's interests, you can add certain demographics, you can exclude certain demographics. Like for example, I have a student of mine who's doing a line of hair care products for African American women. Well, obviously, when he does his Facebook ads, he's not going to be targeting every woman between the age of 18 and 88. He's going to be targeting certain women in certain age range because it's a higher end hair care product. So probably women, I want to say maybe 35 plus, female, and he's going to choose African American women. And he's probably going to exclude people as well. He's probably going to exclude Caucasian women, exclude Asian women, exclude, I don't know, other women that are not going to be part of his wheelhouse and what he's selling to. So the cool thing is not only can you add people, but you could specifically exclude people as well. All right. So this is when it becomes very, very powerful, is that you can very meticulously pinpoint who sees your advertisement. So now you go from a woman, say, who's just simply on her laptop scrolling through her latest Facebook feed, looking to see what family and friends posted, looking to see about the latest cute, kitty video or whatever she's looking for. Well, all of a sudden now it's not as intrusive when she sees a specific hair care product. If, for example, if she's African American and she's, obviously, always thinking about her beauty like all of us women are, and thinking about her hair and getting the latest and greatest in a hair care product, it's not intrusive to her now that she's looking at a specific type of hair care product for an African American female, because it fits into her interest, it fits into her demographic, if you will. And so then people like that, consumers, don't mind being advertised to. All right, because that's what they're interested in. That's what they are looking for. That's what's kind of in the back of their mind at all times. All right, and that's how you can win in this, is by very carefully pinpointing, including and excluding certain demographics, as well as including certain behaviors and interests. So it's not just about demographics, but it's also interest and behaviors as well. Very, very important. All right. So there's the majors are demographics, which is where they're located, their interests, and their behaviors. And then, of course, after that, you can choose your daily budget. I think the default is like $20. And so you can also, if you can see there in their schedule, you can actually have a start date. So maybe you just want to run it for 7 days straight just to see what the result will be. You can even include a specific budget. So for example, if you only want to spend a maximum of $200 and that's it, you can even do that as well. All right. The next thing is that you're going to have to create a page. Now, this particular system that you're seeing here, this one's for the global success stuff. I actually have a separate Facebook account for all of the other skincare stuff. So I keep all the global success stuff separately than I do all the skincare stuff. You should do the same. So if you have a couple of different wheelhouses, you need to have 2 different Facebook accounts to be able to run 2 different Facebook ads for both of your businesses. So this one, you have to have a Facebook, I guess you could say, business page, which if you don't have one, they allow you to set it up while you're setting up your first ad. And so sometimes I'll just create a new page and I'll just call it anything. Again, you want to be able to have your Facebook page kind of be like a mini headline, with the exception of Global Success Systems Ltd, which I believe I just set up just to be able to set up the first page, just to be able to get the business page. I never ever use that for a listing, by the way. So Business Credit Millionaire technically is kind of a mini headline. Real estate cash flow secrets there, kind of really a mini headline. So when you include this, this is what is showing at the very top of the page, or the very top of your posting, right where it says sponsored or sponsored by. It'll show this. And it's up to you if you want to include a picture. A lot of times if I have time, I'll throw in a picture. Otherwise, it shows this ugly default flag looking thing. And so again, you want it to be kind of a mini headline. If you're a mini celebrity, then you can include your name. But otherwise, just include kind of a mini headline. It doesn't have to have anything to do with your business name at all, but it should have something to do with the posting itself, all right? So again, you can create your own business. You can create a different business account or business page every single time you create a new campaign. So any one of these is fine. It could be a local business or place, could be a company, could be a brand or product. Usually I pick brand or product, especially if I'm naming it like Business Credit Millionaire or Real Estate Cash Flow Secrets. That's kind of a brand, I guess. So you just pick one of those, any one of those. It doesn't even matter. And then you choose the category, which I always include website. Again, I don't know how much this actually matters at all. This is one of these things where it's like, does it even matter to anything or anybody? Okay, so I probably should have chose Real Estate Cash Flow Secrets. I don't know why I have Business Credit Millionaire when I'm building this. I think I was just doing it just for the demonstration purposes. But so here's where your URL goes. So this is where this goes to your RIM, your squeeze page, all right? You want to be able to include the http:// and then the www. Some of you that are building on ClickFunnels, you'll just get rid of the www part and you'll just start with the website.com there. But that's where you want people to go when they click on your listing. And so there it is. And again, that should be a different website for what we're doing here. But again, this was just for demonstration purposes. All right, so here we go. If you'll notice, we have underneath the URL part, there's a headline part. You guys have been working on your headlines for weeks now. That's where your headline would go. That's exactly where it goes, okay? And then underneath, you create a little bit more text about it. Cash flowing real estate is the only way to get wealthy. I guess I am talking about real estate here. So the Business Credit Millionaire page should have been real estate cash flow. You get the point. So you type all that in, and then when you get to the next section at the very top of all of that, you'll see that it gives you an option to have multiple images in one ad or a single image. I usually choose the first one. So a lot of times, well, actually all the time in their system, they default multiple images. You'll see that the little thing is there. You need to click on that one, that radio dial there, so that you get the single image. Then you simply put in an image. All right, there's where you put the image. You click on that, and it allows you to upload the image. If you're not sure about how to build an image, I'm going to show you a real quick and easy way to get an image for this to where you're not wasting a ton of time. Most of you, I had you get RealDraw Pro from Media Chance. It's a software that's $55 to be able to work my virtual cover thing that I have. So if you have RealDraw Pro, that will come in handy when you're building this, especially if you want to put text on your images. You can do all that in RealDraw Pro. But if you don't want to waste your time doing all that, you can actually put just images there without any words there at all that actually do a damn good job pulling people in. Because remember, all of your words, if you will, are in your headline area and the little description underneath the headline area. You don't even need to put words in the image section at all. All right. So this is what I did. I went to Google, typed in pictures of apartment buildings. And if you'll notice at the top of the page at Google, what they'll do is they'll put you in the all section. You just click on images. So to see the very second section there, it says images at the very top underneath where I say pictures of apartment buildings, it says images. So you click on that, and what you get is every single apartment building picture that they have. All right. So I just found this one and I saved it, and you save it in your computer. And then you basically upload that image into it, and there you go. So look, I have an image of an apartment building. Oh, I finally changed it to Real Estate Millionaire. Thankfully, I caught that. So take a look. This is what the ad looks like. So you can actually see right away, the second you upload everything, what the actual posting will look like, okay? And you can see, I just borrowed a picture from Google. I didn't go, I mean, if you don't feel comfortable with that, then there's places you can actually get what they call copyright-free art from like Shutterstock.com, thinkstock.com. So if you're not sure, just go to royalty-free images or royalty-free pictures. Just Google that, and you'll be able to find companies where you can buy pictures from them. Otherwise, just borrow them, as long as there's no copyright thing across the top. Google doesn't seem to have a problem taking everybody's pictures, and so the way I look at it, why should you? As long as it's not a celebrity or anybody like that, or anybody in particular, then I wouldn't really worry about it. So look, there's nothing. There is absolutely no words on there. I didn't spend any extra time putting words, because I've noticed that when you have just a picture there without a bunch of words, gopping it all up, they actually pull better. Because remember, people will be reading the top part up above the picture, which is basically your sales pitch, and they're not really going to be reading the picture anyway. So this is how you crop the image. Basically, just click on the picture, and you can go ahead and crop it. If it's still not fitting in the way you want it to, because the way it fits in just doesn't work right, then by all means find a different picture. I mean, you can do this all day. So there's your picture. That's it. If you don't like the picture, just exit out and start over again. All right. So this time I decided, well, I don't want that stupid apartment building that's boring. I want this guy that's actually taking all this money out of the safe deposit box. That seems more interesting. All right. And so that's what I got. That actually works better than the apartment building picture, by the way. And again, completely borrowed from Google. And again, no effort in using RealDraw Pro and typing a bunch of words and destroying the picture that way. No, it makes people look at the picture. Because remember what Facebook is. Facebook is a bunch of pictures from friends and family, essentially. That's how it started off. That's how it still continues to be. And when people start typing words on pictures, we tend to automatically now start thinking of them as some kind of advertisement, some kind of meme, some kind of bullshit that we don't want to read or listen to or care about. But when it's a picture that doesn't have all that stuff, we're thinking, oh, is this some post that somebody's sending me? This is cool. What is this? And people will zero in. Anything that has money in it, people zero in on. Also, too, you'll notice that I filled in the part up above. So pay very careful attention to that. So it starts off and it says, cash flowing real estate is the only way to get wealthy, blah, blah, blah. And then you'll notice that I run the sentence out. I do that on purpose. And I don't leave it in the middle. So before, I think it was somewhere over there by everything. And I actually ran it all the way out with the dot, dot, dot. You don't want to end the sentence. You want them to continue to read on. You want them to be forced to have to learn more. Now, underneath this picture, which you don't see, and you'll see in a minute, is that there's a little button that says learn more, to where it forces them to actually click on the link that will ultimately go over into your website. So you don't really see it there. You'll see the headline underneath. Now you're probably wondering where Become a Real Estate Millionaire comes in. This is the part on this particular website. This was built on, let's see, Real Estate Cash Generator was actually built on GoDaddy. Version 7, I think, is their platform that I used. And when you name your page, that's where you name, so when you name your home page, you don't want it to be called homepage. No matter what you do, your first page is never called homepage, because what Facebook does is they pick up the very first page and they will put that there. All right. So that's why I decided to call my homepage Become a Real Estate Millionaire. That's the name of the homepage. So it's different in every system in how you rename the homepage. The way it works in ClickFunnels is that you click into that first page. You go into the very first drop-down box that's at the very top left of your screen, and you look on, I think it's option number 2 that says SEO meta tags or something meta tags. You click on that, and that's how you rename your pages. The very first box that pops up on the right, that's where you rename your page. You want to rename your first page something that's kind of like a mini headline, because that's what Facebook is going to pull through on your advertisement here, okay? So remember, always name your first page. It's never homepage. Homepage is a bad word. You want to be able to name it something like a mini headline from this point forward, all right? So this is how the ad looks. So basically, there's your headline. There's the name of the first page of your homepage, which has Become a Real Estate Millionaire, which I just told you how to change on GoDaddy's a little different on all their platforms, but on ClickFunnels, it's easy to change. There's your URL there. And then Learn More is a default thing that they have. I wish I could change it to something else, because I would, because Learn More just sounds stupid. There's a handful that you can have. For example, if you take a look at the very bottom part of the left-hand side, underneath the text box there, it says Call to Action. Optional. And there's a bunch of different options there, but Learn More is basically the only one that actually makes sense for this particular thing. You'll notice that there's really not a lot of other tantalizing options, if you will. So once you do all that and you see what the ad looks like, by the way, all the stuff that says mobile newsfeed, Instagram, those need to go. So you'll be unchecking those. Audience network, you can look in there to see whether or not you want to keep that. Desktop right column, again, remember what I told you about those right ads. Those don't pull nearly as well as the left ads. So it's up to you if you want to keep that checked as well. But I would uncheck. You can determine and uncheck. In the very least, you have to uncheck these first two here. You have to uncheck mobile and Instagram. If you're not sure about these two, then you can leave those checked if you want. Just make sure, promise me, that you uncheck those first two. We don't want to be on mobile and we don't want to be on Instagram. All right. All right. So next, place your order. And then once you place your order, it'll go into review. It always goes into review. The review takes between 15 minutes and 24 hours. So don't take it personally if you go into review, because that's how everybody's ads go. And then once you're in review, that's it. It'll say pending review, and then you'll be up and running. All right. If you're not sure how to build your Facebook ads, just take a look at other people's ads and check out what they're doing. Here's one from a while ago. What I liked about it is it's kind of an action thing. Remember, Facebook is about people doing stuff. So either people are doing selfies in front of obnoxious things, or selfies of, them eating something, or, food that they're eating. Just think about what people are posting on Facebook who are friends and family. Action shots, people doing something, people at a fair, at an amusement park. And try to emulate those pictures. Remember, none of those pictures have words on them or arrows on them or any of that crap on them. And I've learned the hard way through Facebook that those ads tend to not do nearly as well as the ads that I have that have a picture in it that I just borrow from Google Images and that has no words on it. And it's kind of an action thing where a couple people are doing something or one person's doing something, because it'll always get somebody's attention. Our Facebook brains have been rewired now to where we know what to look for in a legitimate post and what we look for an advertisement. Unfortunately, the internet's starting to actually rewire our brains. And so we know now that ads that have words in them are ads. Postings that don't have words on the picture are typically postings, unless it's a meme or something like that. So that's why we want to keep out the words now. Again, this one's a good one. This one works out really well. This guy's been on Facebook for a while. You can see he's doing something. Sitting at his desk looking at 6 computer screens. It looks like it would match any other Facebook posting you get from a friend and family, except it kind of looks wordy. You see it. You see his business page at the top. It's called Flip Your Income. And see where it says sponsored. That's what yours will look like. You can change the picture if you want to not have that ugly flag. And I've only recently done that with all my postings. I've changed the picture because it looks stupid with that flag. So he has just little dollars there. And then, well, this is a target market for, it taps into the greed factor. Again, if you're not sure how to do this, start collecting people's Facebook ads. If you want mine, I can give you some. Just tell me what you're looking for, and I can send you a bunch of different Facebook ads that I've collected over the last couple of years. I probably don't have really many stock trading ones, so if you're going to ask for those, don't, because I don't have any. I have a ton of real estate. I have a ton of skincare. I think I have a couple weight loss. So if you're interested in those, I can send you those Facebook ads from other people. And you can take a look to see which ones are successful and why they are. This one was a successful one. I probably would have rewritten it differently. But what's cool is that people are always posting pictures of their vacations, and this goes right alongside all the rest of the posts. You want your picture to look like the rest of the pictures that they're probably seeing in their feed, which is people with selfies, people at places, people in front of stuff, people on vacation. You want all of your stuff to emulate that. No words on the pictures, all right? All right. So here's one that I've been seeing a lot of. I don't like this ad, and here's why. And I see a lot of them, different versions of it, of course. And the reason I don't like it is really not so much the ad as it is what happens when you click on it. When you click on it, you end up on this doctor's boring blog. There's no call to action. There's no way of roping people into the rim. There's no free reports. There's not a freaking thing for people to do when they get there. It's boring as hell. And I don't know, this guy must have endless amounts of money to dump into advertising, because when you get to his boring blog page, it just sucks. It's definitely something you don't want to do, but I just wanted to include this so that you can see that skincare is doing really well. This is Dean Graziosi. Not a fan of him, but he's doing some new thing now. I think he's doing more. He's going more. He's getting more out of the real estate teaching stuff and more into the, I don't know, motivational. What's the word? Who's the guy I'm looking for? Like Zig Ziglar type of, maybe Tony Robbins-ish kind of stuff. And less of the real estate stuff now. So that's Dean Graziosi. Love the picture. Again, notice that there's no words except for the words on his, I was just going to call it a chalkboard, dating myself. His dry erase board. There's actually no words on the actual picture. Again, remember, if you want to do this simplistically and you want to do it successfully, don't be adding a bunch of words on your pictures. The words are on top of the picture and on the bottom of the picture in the form of your headline. But that's it. We don't put words in the picture, all right? This is a real estate one, wholesale lease options, sucking people into a webinar. Those really don't work as much anymore. This lady actually has a video that just starts running, very successful Facebook campaign talking about changing your life through deliberate creation or manifestation, whatever the hell she's talking about. One of the directions that I'm starting to go into as far as my training stuff, probably starting mid-2018 and in 2019. So definitely a Facebook ad that I wanted to keep for sure. This one's on essential oils. They use Michael J. Fox. I'm not entirely sure what is in that miraculous oil that he's got. This is a jewelry company. I was just wanting to illustrate that you can actually do this with anything. You can sell anything on Facebook, and people are making boatloads of money. So, I know a lot of you probably have a dream in the back of your mind, maybe a dream that you've given up a long time ago thinking, oh, I can't do that, or, oh, my mother-in-law told me I'd never do that successfully. So Maybe you've always wanted to make, I don't know, wooden bowls, wooden bowls that you make by hand, or something that have a passion for that you've given up because you felt like you couldn't do it because there's no way of selling the stuff. Guess what? You could sell this shit on Facebook. You could sell anything on Facebook. Anything. I actually bought one of those beach blankets. It's round. I should have showed you the picture because I actually have the Facebook ad. Because I actually keep Facebook ads for actual products too, like I did with this one. And it's actually a round beach blanket. It's perfectly round. It's super light. I had it in Hawaii, and then when I brought it home, I washed it, and then I couldn't find it again, so I ended up buying another one. And it's round, and it's absolutely huge. But yet it's so thin. It's almost like I don't want to say it's a parachute material, but it's really thin to the point where you can fold it up and stuff it in your beach blanket and have, or I'm sorry, your beach purse or tote bag, and have plenty of room for everything else. And so I actually ended up buying that from Facebook because it was like an unusual looking beach blanket. And of course, they were selling it in June and July, and I'm like, well, I'm taking a vacation, so I bought the beach blanket. So you can sell anything. So those dreams of those products, especially handmade products that maybe you've given up a long time ago thinking that you couldn't make money selling that, think again. You can actually make money selling handmade products, selling stuff you whip up in a basement. I know one of our students that was in the workshop wants to do a beard oil. This is the perfect place, folks, the Facebook, especially if you're going to hand make some kind of potion. This is the perfect place to sell it, would be on Facebook, because you can actually have a picture of the beard oil and, put it up there. Obviously, you'd want to target your audience to men, which we just talked about. But again, you could sell anything here and people will buy it. All right. I, of course, haven't seen a beard oil Facebook ad, but I bet you anything, if I went into just about any man's Facebook account, I would be able to find those ads. I'm just not the target audience. Thank God. You can also see, too, in this ad, how it says shop now there. That's another option that you can have. But again, that would only be for like stores and places like that. This guy, I learned about this guy from my friend Greg, who was the guy who was writing a book about cancer. I actually named his book called How to Never Get Cancer. And he was in a workshop almost 2 years ago that I had in January 2016. He came to my workshop. It was an in-office workshop I had. And he first told me about this herb doc guy. And I started ordering this herb doc guy. And if you don't want to get sick this holiday season, you need to go to herbdoc.com. You need to look for the cold and flu shots. They're expensive, but guess what? It beats the hell out of A, taking a bunch of time off of work, and B, ended up taking a flu shot. I don't know if I can legally tell you this, but I strongly recommend that you not get a flu shot ever again, okay? Because number one, a flu shot usually has a strain of the flu that's been morphed into something else by now anyway, and it's not even the strain of flu that's even going around right now, because if you know anything about the flu, you'd know that the flu changes constantly. And on top of that, there's hundreds of strains of flu going around at any point in time. So the likelihood that your flu shot is going to get that 1 out of 100 strain of flu is about 0%. Not only that, but there's a ton of chemicals and toxins that are in flu shots. So do not take flu shots anymore. That's my recommendation to you, because you're not going to it's not going to help you. It's just going to make you sick, and it's just going to put toxins and chemicals into your system. However, what I do recommend that you do, and again, I'm not a doctor, so you obviously take the advice and you can, do whatever you want with it. I'm just telling you, for your health, there's a lot of toxins and chemicals in flu shots, and it's not going to help you overcome the flu anyway. But go to herbdoc.com, get their cold and flu shot. It also comes in a bottle with a serving size of 10 shots in it. It's expensive, but you will not get sick, period. All right. So if you start to feel kind of run down, you start to feel like, you might be on the fence as far as getting sick, you start taking those cold and flu shots, one a day in the morning. It'll knock it out in like 2 days, period. Even if you are full throttle sick and you're laying up and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to die, or I wish I would die because I feel so horrible. Start taking the cold and flu shot one a day, maybe even up to twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. I can't take them at night because I'm actually allergic to echinacea, and this has a little echinacea in it. But I take it anyway in the morning if I'm feeling like I'm getting sick, because I can withstand the allergic reaction to it. At night, I can't, because my blood pressure is so low, because it goes, when I go to sleep, it kind of gets lower. And echinacea actually lowers my blood pressure a lot. I already have low blood pressure anyway, so I can't take it at night. But if you're not allergic to echinacea, then you can take it twice a day if you're really sick. I swear it knocks any cold and flu out within a couple days. I mean, you go from feeling like you want to die to being at the top of the world in about 48 hours. So this is the guy, and it was that cancer guy, Greg, who told me all about this. Now I'm really pleased that they've gotten so large as a company that they are now on Facebook. This was actually taken off of Facebook today. Awesome, awesome company. They have some of the purest, highest grade health supplements out there. So if you're never sure about what health supplements to take because you're wondering, is this some junk that they sell at Walmart? Is this stuff coming from China? What is this that I'm taking? And if you don't mind paying the extra few bucks for it because you know that it's going to be the purest, highest grade stuff, this is the guy you want to go to at herbdoc.com, because they never put any junk in their stuff. They have the weight loss stuff. They have all kinds of stuff for you, cleansing stuff for your colon and everything. Excellent company. But again, you can sell anything on Facebook, absolutely anything at all. Here's another company. This is a company that teaches people how to self-publish their books, probably on Kindle and other things. Again, another highly successful company that's selling a product on. And what happens when you go to their website is that they want to put you into a webinar, which is I think about 90 minutes long. And you go to the webinar and you learn about how to do it, which is essentially a sales pitch on their course and their system. Here's an eye cream one. I keep all the skincare ones for myself just to see what people are doing out there. Not my favorite. Don't really particularly care for the eye. I think I would have had a less of an abstract view of someone's face. I would have pulled it out a lot more and showed her whole face. But, again, another, you can sell anything on Facebook. Now these are what we call retarget ads. This one was retargeted on the bottom because I had already clicked on the guy's website and was there for like 2 seconds, and then I clicked out. And so the Facebook system knew this, so now they keep showing me this guy's ad, but it keeps showing up on the right bottom side. All right. So for that reason, you might want to stay on the right side if you want to. In the very beginning, just stay in the main Facebook feed section, and eventually you can add to it if you want. All right, so Facebook strategies, we already talked about how you don't want your sentence to end with a period, but have a bunch of dots and have it go flow out to the end. You want to go under your AdWord manager or your Facebook ad manager and make sure you customize your audience always. You want to bid a little bit higher. I don't. They always want you to do $20 a day. I usually do $50 a day, but that's up to you on what you feel comfortable with. All right, so the bait, we've already talked about bait and getting people to go to your website. One of the experts I talked to, and it's not the expert who I don't think is an expert really, there was a lady, her name was Kim Walsh Phillips. She wrote a book with Dan Kennedy years ago about Facebook. I learned a couple things from her, but I'm not a fan of her at all. I actually think that most of the time she just simply talks out of her ass. I met another Facebook expert, and he really knows his stuff. His name is Brian Hahn. I don't even think he has any books or anything, and that's cool. Usually the true experts don't have a bunch of books and stuff out there. They're just people that you meet in the real world of marketing. And he was telling me that of recent days on Facebook, what works less and less are your free download reports, your free ebooks, even free video and webinars are not working as well. But what really works well nowadays is that when you have tip sheets or any valuable resource that you can offer to people. So for example, if I were to go back and redo all of my real estate ads for Facebook, what I would do this time is I would actually offer them a resource or a piece of software. Like one of the ones that I have is freecfe.com, where people can actually get the free cash flow evaluator. It's one of my older versions of the cash flow evaluator, but they can actually get the cash flow evaluator. That's a valuable resource. one of the things I was thinking about doing if I revive the Facebook ads for the real estate stuff is maybe even offering one of my flip resources. So actually offering them one of the resources that I have that offer money to people who want to flip property. That's a valuable resource. So start thinking about a valuable resource that you would have to be able to give to someone. If you're doing stock trading, you want to be able to give somebody a resource, whether it's some kind of tool. Tool is a big deal. So if you can offer somebody some kind of tool, even use the word tool in your advertisement, that is extremely valuable, and you'll get a lot more people coming into your web than you will if you just want to give people free download reports, because that's really starting to dry up, and it's starting to dry up quickly as far as people's interest. People just don't want to go through a 50 or 100 page report anymore. All right. Here's a common Facebook marketer mistake. Aside from Robert Kiyosaki, or I've been seeing a lot of ads for Tony Robbins because in a couple weeks he's coming out to LA and doing a real estate expo. Unless it's somebody that's famous or recognizable, it's not really a good idea to just plaster your face all over. This is an older ad. I haven't seen this guy in a while. So in other words, his Facebook strategy just didn't work out. All right. So your Facebook funnel, all of your funnels actually, but your Facebook funnel kind of looks like this. You bait the prospect into what we call the blog, which is really your bait, I guess you could say your rim bait system. With your ad, you require them to opt in for whatever freebie bait item you're giving them. Then you do the sales offer right after they give you their information. And then you do constant continuous email follow-up through your email blast or your drips. So to be clear, though, obviously you're driving them off of Facebook and into your website, all right? They don't stay on Facebook. Well, I mean, they still have their Facebook page open, but then they have an additional screen that's open for your website. All right, so, here's the deal. You have to be very careful when you go out there and decide to listen to a bunch of people about Facebook training. Facebook strategies, and this is what I learned recently. Sometimes you just have to experiment because every business is going to be different. The way you have to bring people in is differently. Obviously, if you're selling, say you're selling custom-made engagement rings, that the bottom line price for the cheapest ring is $10,000, all right? And that's your business. Well, unfortunately, the same strategy for selling a real estate course is going to be, you're not going to be able to use the same strategy at all, period. So I can't give you anymore a blanket strategy that's going to work for everything. You have to, unfortunately, experiment with some things here and there to be able to tell, what to use. So if you're selling something really high end, like a custom made engagement ring, you're going to have to expect the fact that you're not going to get people into the website and buying the engagement ring within 10 minutes. It's just simply not going to work. I don't care what your video looks like. I don't care what your testimonial videos look like. I don't care what any of that looks like. It's just not going to work. So you're going to have to use a different strategy, which ideally is going to be you having them input their name, physical mailing address, and phone number to where you can actually not only send them a catalog and maybe even send them a video in a book, but also to have somebody call them a week later and follow up about the engagement ring because it looks like they're shopping for engagement rings. The process is a little longer, okay? However, for everything else, especially anything that's anywhere from a couple dollars to a couple $100, you could very well sell them right away as long as you set up your funnel correctly. All right. But the first thing you always want to do, though, is collect their information. You want their name and email address in the very least before they're able to get anything, whether it's the tools, the resources, the free bait, whatever it is. You have to get their information first. And regardless of whether you're advertising in Facebook or other means, it's always getting their information first. All right. So again, Facebook is basically for everything, which I sort of showed you about. But let's talk about pay-per-click now. So we're shifting a little bit from Facebook to pay-per-click. All right. So I think one of your assignments in recent past was to open up a Bing account. If you could find a way onto Google AdWords by looking at competitors to see if they're on Google AdWords, competitors of like products that you have, then by all means find your way on Google AdWords, all right? Now, the thing about pay-per-click, unlike Facebook where your ads start to show immediately, like after they're approved, within anywhere from 15 minutes to 24 hours, Google AdWords, it actually takes a couple weeks to get traction. Not that the ads don't show right away, and the same goes for Yahoo too. Not that the ads don't show right away, it's just that they want to be able to show, they have to get a certain number of impressions to get a certain number of clicks. And if your ad budget is, say, $100 a day, they want to see, I guess, how many on average impressions have to show to get that amount of clicks to be able to fill that $100 every single day, because they want to take every single dime you're willing to give up every single day. And so that's why it takes about 2 weeks for these systems to really show full throttle, because they don't know how many impressions they're going to have to throw out to get X number of clicks to be able to fill in that budget that you have every day. So that's why it takes a little while. SpyFu, we already haven't had an assignment about SpyFu before. I recommend that you choose this for at least 1 month when you're ready to get started. Remember, you have to have your RIM up and running and ready to go before you can make this work. This was back in the day when there was actually weight loss products. But back in the day when they had weight loss products, you can actually find them on Google AdWords. If this is a Google search, all of your sponsored ads are at the very top. You'll see also an ad in yellow in the middle of the page there. All of that below that, webmd.com, mayoclinic.org, that's organic. That's the organic SEO section. And then off to the right, you'll see also ads in yellow, and those are also advertisements through Google AdWords. So again, that's the first thing you're going to want to do is see if you can advertise on Google AdWords by typing in whatever the obvious keyword strain would be, which in this case would be, weight loss pills or weight loss supplements. And so you find a domain. You need to find a domain to get an accurate assessment through SpyFu. This is what their website looks like. All right, looks like a cross between a kind of a cheesy blog and they want to make it seem like they are a real legitimate magazine, and they're not. And so what you do is you type in their competitor website here to be able to start pulling through what all of your keywords are. All right. So here's their AdWord budget. We can also get their keywords from SEO, which is through the organic search, and then the pay-per-click, which is the one I'm most interested in. All right. So let's see. You can actually take a look at their very best, highest pulling ads, and if that's what you want, to sort of emulate, then you don't really need to do much work to do your own presentation or your own AdWords. You can actually just kind of emulate. Don't copy word for word, but emulate what they're doing. This is good for non-downloadable products, because you're going to get the most exposure through pay-per-click. Also, too, Amazon also is a great way of being able to get exposure, actually advertising through Amazon. Because there's huge amounts of traffic. People are starting to do Amazon searches instead of Google searches, and they're starting to take over in that. Now, Bing, this is where you start a Bing account, secure.bingads.microsoft.com. You just simply click on there, and you start a new Bing a Bing account. And this is one of my older accounts that I have. These are, when you're on a budget, they'll let you know, which is cool, by the way, and you can actually increase your budget. That's like, I guess, a little advanced stuff to know. I have a different one for the skincare stuff, but I want to show you how to create a campaign. You just simply click on Create a Campaign, which will be the only thing you can do when you first go into this. You want to do a search and content campaign, and then you basically just type out the campaign name, your daily budget. You want to be in the U.S., and if you want to be in additional countries, I recommend that you consider Canada as well. And then you're going to do a text ad. I don't recommend mobile ads. We just had the conversation about mobile ads. We don't want to do that. All right. And then you just type out a text ad. And by the way, remember, when you do the advertisement research through SpyFu and get an idea of what all your competitors are doing and what their best top pulling ads are, you can emulate a lot of what they did. So you could just type in your version of that. and that's it. So you basically can also upload your actual keywords or type them out. The system will help you find keywords. And here's a bunch of keywords, and you could just click on the little boxes if you agree with those keywords or not. I don't like the keyword 1031 exchange. I don't really think that has a lot to do with what I'm doing. But what happened was they actually did a search on my site. They went to birddoggingopportunity.com, and they actually pulled all of those keywords. That's where they got them from. Or you can enter the keywords here. Or you can copy and paste the list of keywords from the list that you would have downloaded from SpyFu from one of your competitors that's doing the same thing. That's the easiest way to do it. Then you add all of those in there. Then they give you an idea of, what the first page bids are, and you can decide whether you want to advertise those or not. If it's too expensive, then you'll just use the little X to the left of every keyword, and you'll just take them out. If you don't want to deal with that kind of, because $5.54 is a huge price to pay. All right. And so then opportunities, under opportunities, they'll actually tell you, these are the ads that I've had running for at least a couple weeks. And they'll tell you what additional keywords are that you can consider, and you can click on all of those. Then that's the cool thing, is that these systems after a couple weeks will say, hey, listen, there's a bunch of other keywords you could be using here. And here they are. You want them all? And then usually I go in there and I click on all of them because it's a lot easier than me doing the work later myself. All right. And then you want to be able to obviously compare your ad spend with sales in the same period. So, to see if your ad is working or not, or if you're selling products or not. And this is all about experimentation. It's all about testing things out to see if it's working or if it's not working. So there's other strategies, SEO, which I'm not really a big fan of because I like to have more control over being able to get my stuff seen. And the algorithms change so much with Google AdWords, or I'm sorry, Google search rather, and Yahoo, that it's just hard to keep up on that. I think even people that work for Yahoo and Google can't even figure out the algorithms and how they change. But I like pay-per-click, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's through the pay-per-click search engines, because I know as long as I'm paying, they'll show my ads. All right. Banners and specialty sites, we talked about that weeks ago. You can also go to magazine websites, and there's an advertisement section on every single magazine website at the very bottom that says advertise with us or advertise, and you can actually advertise on their website as well. YouTube videos, we talked about this a little bit on how you can use YouTube to be able to make money using YouTube. So this is kind of something that you should experiment with once you get your other advertising campaigns up there, but it works much the same as how the rest of the pay-per-click stuff works. Whiteboard explainer videos, this is something that you can use to either have on your landing page or even use on your Facebook. Instead of actually having a picture, you can actually have a video, and a whiteboard explainer video is actually quite entertaining for people to watch to get them to click over into your site. So that's also something to consider. There's people on Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, that can actually do whiteboard videos for you. And so if you're selling any kind of health supplement product, definitely something you want to consider, especially since you can't do before and after pictures for, say, for example, a diet product or even a skincare product. Then you might want to use something more interesting than that, which would be a whiteboard video. All right. So to be successful with your money funnel business, you're going to have multiple marketing strategies, selling multiple products that are, of course, part of your same wheelhouse. You don't want to be selling stock trading programs and weight loss products and male enhancement pills. You've got to be in the same wheelhouse. That's the whole point. But you should be selling multiple products, have multiple funnels set up, and multiple marketing strategies going at the same time. Obviously, your best offline marketing strategies are postcard marketing, magazine ads, even the invitation two-step is good. Your best online marketing strategies are your pay-per-click, Yahoo, and Microsoft. I should have also included Google AdWords because that falls under the same thing. YouTube videos, email blasts, and then of course I didn't put Facebook, which is what we talked about this whole time, Facebook on there as well. And then you want to focus on finding which ones of these are working the most. It's the 80-20 principle, where you're getting 80% of your business from only 20% of your marketing effort. So figure out what those 20% are, and then focus on that, and then get rid of all the rest of the marketing that you have, okay? So does anybody have any questions here? I know we talked about a lot. Vaughn asked, what do I think about e-zines? It depends on whether or not there's a huge readership in it and how they're presenting the e-zine. Is it going to be something that's on their e-zine website, like a magazine website, or is it going to be something that they're emailing to people? And if it's something that they're emailing to people, what is your placement of your ad look like? I don't recommend solo ads or anything like that. So if that's what their e-zine is about, then that's not what you're doing, because solo ads never work. But if their e-zine is a legitimate magazine that sends out email blasts to people, and you're going to have a decent placement of your ad somewhere to where people are going to see it and read it, then yeah, I would do it. Can you do video testimonial using AdWords? I don't see anyone doing this. I don't know how you would do it. Google AdWords has text advertising that I know of. I know that they have other types of placements. If you can find a way of doing that, you can, but I haven't seen it. On the landing page, I mean. Yeah, of course you could do testimonials on your landing page. That is probably a really smart way of doing it. Is it okay to have the video testimonial on the landing page? Yes, it is. If you notice, most of my websites that I have some kind of testimonial there. Most of the time people need validation, I should say, from other people that a product works or does well. And again, if you don't have testimonials yet, get some friends and family rounded up that are willing to do testimonials for you. And in the very least, you can always borrow somebody's testimonial ability by going to Fiverr.com. It's Fiverr.com. You can actually have somebody do a video testimonial for you for about 15 or 20 bucks. And some of them will actually do a real testimonial for you by you send them your product and they'll do a testimonial. That's what I like to do. I don't really like to write testimonials and have people do them, because that seems a little phony and illegal somewhat to me. I just don't feel good about doing that. I like to get real testimonials. So I like to pick the Fiverr.com people that do testimonials where I can send them my product and they can give me a legitimate testimonial after trying, experimenting with my product. Those are the ones I like to hone in on if I'm using Fiverr.com. And I recommend you do the same thing as well. You should have a good product. If you don't have a good product, then that is the foundation of all this. So if you don't have a good product, or you don't feel comfortable with your product, or don't like your product, then go back to the drawing board. Otherwise, this whole marketing thing will be a disaster for you. All right? So you want to sell stuff that you feel good about, that has integrity, that helps people, and that works. And if you haven't found something like that, then go back to the drawing board. All right? Get something together that you not only really like and have some passion for, but that actually works and does something for people. And if you don't feel comfortable with presenting your product to the world because it's half-assed, then go back to the drawing board before you do any of this, because you're going to feel that you're going to be spinning your wheels and getting nothing accomplished at all. All right? You're certainly not going to make money that way. All right? Okay, everybody, we talked a lot. We covered a lot. Again, don't let this be the end. This is the beginning. I'm here for you if you want to submit your headlines, if you want me to look at your websites, whatever you want me to do to further assist you in making this happen for you, by all means, send me an email. My email is always available and open and ready for me to respond back to you. It's like my initials, @monicamain.com. That is my email for now and for always. And I'm always going to be here for you. I'm here to work with you. I'm here to make this happen for you, or at least help you make this happen for yourself. So don't think that this is the end. This is just the beginning of a very profitable and exciting business experience for you. All right, everybody, happy Halloween. This is Monica Main signing off, and I'll see you at the top.